Hey YouTube family, so today's video is just a little introduction of my fish room. And here I have about 6 of my 9 aquariums, and this one right here, this is a 45-gallon breeder that I have juice cichlid frying. There's probably about 100 of them in here. They're about like 2 months now, baby. Like 2 months, 3 months. Oh, they're like 3 months old. They haven't started to get any color in. As you can see, there are some that are really small compared to the other ones, and they eat a lot. Like, I can feed them and 5 minutes later I won't see anything in here. I usually give them flakes and brine shrimp in the morning, and then later on at night I'll give them more flakes with some bloodworms, and I give them the brine shrimp and the bloodworms that come frozen, and then I just thaw them out. But they do eat a lot, and I give them water changes, and I clean out the bottom with my python about every 2 to 3 days, because there's so many of them that there will be a lot of waste. I decided to take out the gravel just to keep it, because it's easier to clean the bottom, especially because they were so small that I was afraid that I would suck some of them up. So what I do on my python is I actually put the net in the front of the tube so that while I'm cleaning up everything, it'll suck up, all the old food and the waste, but it won't suck up any of the fry. And I'm actually going to post a little video on how I do that. Sometimes if I don't use the net, I can use like a stocking cap and just put rubber bands on it. Learned that from my husband. And we have everything here on a rack. I actually helped my husband put this together. I'm not lying, I really did help him this time. But there's about 100 of them. And they are going to need homes soon. So if you live in Jersey or New York, message me and you can come and get a few. And then here, in this 20-gallon long, I actually have my favorite fry of all my cichlids. They are hybrids. Their mother is Zena. She's my favorite. She is a convict cichlid, and their father is Austin. He's a Jack Dempsey. There's about 50 of them in here. The one thing I can say about our fry is, unless they ate each other and we didn't know, none of them have died from the time that we had separated them from their mother and father. We've never found any bodies. We feed them very well. I feed them the same way. I give them flakes in the morning with brine shrimp. And there's a lot of food here on the bottom, but this food will be gone within the next 2 hours. And then at night, I'll feed them more flakes with the bloodworms, because cichlids love bloodworms. And the flakes that I give them, they're tropical flakes, but they're the ones for the coloring, so it enhances their scales and brings out the beautiful colors in their coat. They're hiding, but they actually look just like Xena. They're just really big, like Austin. They're gonna be a lot bigger than the mother when they get fully grown. And then in these 2 little breeder nets, I actually have their siblings, because Xena had babies about 2 weeks ago. And what I do is I actually put baby snails in my breeding nets with my fry. That way I don't have to worry too much about cleaning it out and, using the hose, because those snails would clean out most of the good waste and, the food that the fry don't get to. But I usually just give them flakes. I try to crumble them up as small as I can, and I give them brine shrimp as well, baby brine shrimp. And then I might put in a few shrimp pellets for the snails. I only have a few snails in here because 3 of my snail clusters only gave me about 3 baby snails each. I think the rest had died out. but the first 2 clusters gave me over 100 each, and I actually put those in a 10-gallon that I have my guppy fry in. And then up here I have 2 little juvenile crayfish with a whole bunch of hatchling. I had 2 female crayfish that actually gave birth within like the past 2 weeks, and sad to say that, okay, these crayfish eat so much that they were literally eating the babies overnight, and it was hard to tell because you never really see them give birth unless you're watching them, so you don't know if they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 100. But there's a lot of babies hiding, but I know a lot of them have been eaten because our first crayfish has so many babies that I can look in here and say, okay, this is not enough for 2 crayfish to have had, you know, babies. But they're cute. I have little red ones. I have little white ones, the ghost crayfish, see? Then I have some really light gray looking ones. Those 2 bigger ones in the back, those are the babies from the first crayfish we had that gave birth. They were the only ones to survive, unfortunately. Trial and error, you live and you learn. And I just put all of this food in here today, and it's going to be gone by later on tonight, which is fine because I have to do a little water change and try to clean out the bottom, and I'll feed them again, of course. And then in here, this is the death chamber, because I started out with a 55-gallon and I had about 30 crayfish. We had about 30, right? Maybe more than that. And they just decided they wanted to keep killing each other. So now I have 5 males left. I had 4 females, but they killed the first female that had babies. And then they killed this female overnight. So now I have 5 males and 2 females. And I'm heartbroken. But if you look inside, we had 2 of these tricolor crayfish. I believe one was a male, but they could have both been female because we had no idea. And as you can see, she is white, she has red on her, she has blue, and she actually had babies. So the fry in here, half of them belong to her, and hopefully they will come out as beautifully as she has grown to be. She's actually big. She's really big, and she's probably the most aggressive one in here. I have never seen her getting beat up by any of these crayfish. I mean, you see how, look, they're ready to fight. They don't want to fight her. She's vicious. It's to the point where you can see she has her own little pipe to live in because she's so much bigger than them that she can't fit into the rest of these. She's very aggressive. I think she's a Taurus. She has to be a Taurus. She has my attitude. And the funny thing is that all of these fish, they were supposed to be my husband's. But you know what happened? They started having babies. And as a woman, I just felt like, you know what? I do a better job in taking care of them. Besides the fact that they kill each other. But they're having babies, so I'm doing something right. My husband is quiet because he's a hater. I just really want to show off all of these little babies. They are so cute. They are so precious. There's so many of them. And then last but not least, up here I have, there's only 5. No, there's 6. Those are male betas. I had about 15 of them once upon a time. But for them to be antisocial fish that like to be left in solitude, that are very low maintenance, they're actually the ones that die the easiest. Let me show you guys my boys. That's a koi. And no, I'm not going to sit here and name what each one of them are because I have no idea. I just know what the koi is. And I know what an elephant ear is. But and tomorrow, after I do the water changes to my guppy setups, I will post a video so you guys can see all of my beautiful juvenile guppies. They are amazingly colored. I have, you know, the regular guppies, and I have like the tequila guppy. I have, you know, the yin and yang guppies, the white and black ones. I have elephant ear guppies. I have cobras. And I'm not just talking about adult guppies. I am talking about fry. Like my guppies, they were in here having babies left and right, back and forth. It was to the point where we were literally getting about 40, 50 fry a day. They just kept having babies. And at first I found myself, you know, so amazed. I was actually staying up all night trying to rescue all the babies. And then after a while, I'm just like, oh my God, what the hell are we going to do with all of them? But they've managed to live. And then, you know, some of them, they have come out to look a little disformed. So unfortunately, we had to get rid of them. Because we can't allow them to breed and, you know, continue to mess up their genetics, because who's going to want them? But the rest of them are so beautiful. I'm actually going to just have to give this... I got to give this tank a water change and get to the bottom. I'm going to do that now. And then I have to clean off the glass. Okay. Later, guys.